They defend this push, or are we going to see the sweep for the final? Ziggy flashes in, able to get the stun, cracks into the back line, does some nice damage. Immortality comes up from right under the ultimate of Japanese, and now Hate all alone, not able to defend off. New Wave will take this game. The down counters are just too high, and New Wave takes the champion. Feeling this out, the way the nice stun on the shark, doing a little bit of damage, I feel so alive, it's like I'm heading down, all this shit on my mind, I feel like I'm in the vibe, I lost touch with reality, that shit killed the vibe, had me living like I ain't had me shit, I'm just getting by. And I'm far from the illest guy, still I grind to keep me on top, no ceiling tiles. Yeah, ain't no cap, this an enterprise. Know you feel the vibes, feeling blessed that I'm still alive.
Coming with reality, this shit got me forever free. And I'm so far gone now, feel so alive and going all out.
Just barely out there by Supra. And they secure the kill on the fan. What a save! Secures the kill on him. Do we get a team wipe here? Do we get a team wipe? Wait, there's a fire lock on Gals kicking in the back line. But Sir Darcy will get suppressed and taken out first blood. Going to the side of Area 77. Nicolette keeps on coming in. The Marquis here.
Yeah, I'm feeling so alive, I feel energized. I used to sit inside, let my feelings hide. Everything I despise, no reason given why. Now I thank God I'm alive, not doing prison time. Yeah, now I'm keeping all the bullshit aside to give me mine. Had to cut a lot of homies off, our ghosts is in the line. And that shit don't affect me, I was feeling fine. Still inspired to chase this fucking dream like the kid inside me. Lost touch with reality, this shit got me forever free. And I'm so far gone now, feel so alive and going all out. Lost touch with reality, this shit got me forever free. And I'm so far gone now, feel so alive and going all out.
Now, Yeho coming in, doing a little bit of damage on the shark, but it looks like Team Sexy went from the court. A nice flicker kick, nice knock up, down goes Molecule to the major damage.
That Franco was really low. He was more focused on lane. We're seeing Uzi getting demolished. Hayabusa. I think that was messed up on the
And kind of have someone keeping vision, and we are seeing a bit of a pick on off the feet. That's what it looks like. We'll see Ziggy though getting caught up. Omega gets a stun. In comes Syndicate. He does use that Petrify, but Ziggy is going to go down. It's another kill there. And do some sort of crazy play. But now he's taking some damage. He does cover it. Syndicate will get the kill. Wait a second.
Towards early game. However,
Quicker way, Ziggy though chasing in, does have that ultimate way to use it. Roll though, he goes down to the air strike. Slow down, trying to take it too much damage. Let's go Zia taking some damage. In comes that ult.
The openings, they're not able to find those singles. Another
Big swing down. Nice knock him on it. Best player maybe going down once again. He goes hang down. Able to get the kill. And he does push on the fender upon to Nicolette. Zia with that ultimate trying to make some space. Sharp with the Newman on blast. They are going to get the kill on to 8. Nice counterplay coming from Team Switch. Wait a second. Best player with the petrify. Sharp trying to do it on blast. Will get stopped in his track. And a nice time offended on the Sharp. They take that tower. Now coming around the stop to Axel there. With the Sharp. Coming on the Sharp.
right now, they're being punished for it because Insomnia is just outroaching them and not
But still able to get the kill on the best player. 3 members down. Make that 4. Nicolette all alone, but they don't have any Sharp moving over again. No one's able to stop this movement on Black. And it crashes down. And gets the kill on the wall. Makes that all alone. Will versus taking out Omega. Will next to fall. A double kill. This team fight, the disengage will most likely happen.
Welcome to the North American Squad League.
who are new. This is the first and currently only Mobile Legends League in all of North America.
A place where the top teams from the United States, Canada, and Mexico get to battle it out over the span of 10 weeks.
What are they battling for, you might ask? The start, 3,000 USD, 50,000 diamonds, but most of all, the right to say our team is the best.
It's been an amazing journey these past 2 seasons with teams like Area 77 and New Wave go home with the glory.
But as there will be 6 teams returning from previous seasons,
we do have some new faces coming in as well, and they look hungry.
For those of you loyal viewers who have been sticking with us through the past 2 seasons, we have to say thank you.
And for all of our new viewers,
welcome to the show.
We hope you enjoy.
I hope you enjoy.
Nothing that New Wave can really do there. One thing that I liked about this Lord take than the last one when they lost 2 members, best player stayed close to the Lord, right? Hold on, Blaze Duet comes in. House Fanboy gets away with a sliver and takes out Sirius
right now, and this is something different from what we were seeing from New Wave, is even while they were getting kills on them, they were still able, we do see a Numenor Blast coming out.
Oh, but the reverse time able to get him out of that, but it's not enough. Whole World coming in with the heavy spin. Sakamoto able to get out with just a sliver of health. You can't even see the health
Do here, because it does open it up a little bit for the side of Deuce Knights, G.
Look at that. They were like, I'm
I'm getting that tower. You know, just holding it out there. What we're really seeing.
Engage, and that's what the difference is right here for the Diggy, and that's what happens when you get a Diggy on the back foot. You're not able to really capitalize. Oh, easy peasy, caught in midair.
Why is he walking like a pro? You gotta know what you're up against, man. I mean, you gotta know there's a heavy spin in there. He just dived into a heavy spin, like, I got this, hold my beer, and just completely annihilated there. Strike does come down, 14. Sakamoto out of the way, but say 10 use that wall. Interrupt Mingu here. Easy with the chains, and Mingu does not touch the ground before she dies. Knocked up from the chains, knocked up from the wild charge, and taken out in the sky. A wonderful mark from the side of these Knights. They want to keep going. Don't let the big stun come in from the side of their strike. Don't let Darwin into our back line. The moment we let that happen, we lose. And as long as these Knights can hold together, easy peasy, buys that one entrenching on. Able to get out of there for Promise. Finally gets that crossbow tang. He isn't able to succeed in it. Wild charge comes in, and Darwin gets the pick. Promise goes down. Darwin now taken out as well. Promise on the run, but they are there, and there is no immortality for you. 4 members of the Simpsons go down, and Deuce Knights with a nice defense, but you lose all your inhibitors for that trade.
Oh, easy peasy is hungry for it. He wants it. I'm not sure if he's gonna be able to get it.
Well, one's a fast boy. He should be able to get away, but easy peasy continues to chase. Continues to want it. Chain.
And this is going to be another tower that looks like it's going to be going down to the side of Ackerman over here at mid.
Oh my god. And a big is collapsing in.
Yeah, and that's another Fatal Links that does land, but they are too strong right now. There is not enough that they're going to be able to do. Great play by Zia. He's going to go ahead and dash away from Mosh's damage. Gina Godmos gets taken out, and I don't think there's going to be anything that's going to be able to stop them from this next push. We do see Shen gets taken out, and this is just a dominant.
Where Zia's going to really start outputting the damage, right? And Yato as well. 0 deaths, and that's a big way of the dragon, but I don't know if it's going to be able to do it.
No, see what happened there, the way the dragon went into the wrong mode because he flickered and he still continued with it, which put his whole team in a bad way here. Blah, the team coming in. We do have a crossbow tank coming down. It is not enough to take down Lord T. We do see, does land on the Merciless with the Jikundo. It is able to release him from that bloody hunt there. Does get knocked out of it here. Look at these outplays after outplay right here. I'm in a little bit of trouble here. I'm not sure he's going to be able to get out of this with the feathered airs. Oh, just big misses. Oh man.
Point blank range. You can't hit them all. Oh.
Cheers.
There it is, guys.
That is picture perfect right here.
Middle, Craxy and Hate all alone. Can they defend this push, or are we going to see the sweep for the final? Ziggy flashes in, able to get the stun. Craxy in the back line, does some nice damage. Immortality comes up from right under the ultimate of Japanese, and now Hate all alone, not able to defend off. New Wave will take this game. The down counters are just too high, and New Wave takes the champion. Feeling this out, the way the nice stun on the shark, Pokey doing a little damage to the left up.
I feel so alive, it's like I'm living time. All this shit on my mind, feel like I'm living vibes. I've lost touch with reality, that shit killed the vibe. Had me living like I ain't having shit, I'm just getting by. And I'm far from the endless sky, still I grind to keep me on top, no ceiling tiles. Yeah, ain't no cap, this an enterprise. Know you feel the vibes, feeling blessed that I'm still alive.
A huge play coming
with reality. This shit got me forever free. And I'm so far gone now. Feel so alive and going all out.
Just barely out there by Supra. And they secure the kill on the big one. Secures the kill on him. Do we get a team wipe here? Do we get a team wipe?
Wait, there's a butterfly locked on Gauss in the back line. But Sir Bossy will get suppressed and taken out first blood. Going
so alive, I feel energized. I used to sit inside, let my feelings hide. Everything I despise, no reason given why. Now I thank God I'm alive, not doing prison time. Yeah, now I'm keeping all the bullshit aside to give me mine. Had to cut a lot of homies off, our goals just in the line. And that shit don't affect me, I was feeling fine. Still inspired to chase this fucking dream like the kid inside me.
Lost touch with reality. This shit got me forever free. And I'm so far gone now. Feel so alive and going all out. Lost touch with reality. This shit got me forever free. And I'm so far gone now. Feel so alive and going all out.
Now, Yeho coming in, doing a little bit of defense on the shark, but it looks like Team Sexy wants to record a nice flicker kick, nice knock up, down goes Marquis to the major damage.
That Franco was really low. He was more focused on lane. We're seeing a Uzi getting demolished. I think that was messed up.
And kind of have someone keeping vision, and we are seeing a bit of a pick on off the feet.
That's what it looks like.
We'll see Ziggy though getting caught up. Omega gets the stun. In comes Syndicate. He does use that petrify, but Ziggy is gonna go down. It's another kill there. And do some sort of crazy play. But now he's taking some damage. He does cover it from Syndicate. Get the kill before. Wait a second.
Towards early game. However,
Flicker away. Ziggy though chasing in. Doesn't.
Welcome, guys, back to the North American Squad League. Oh, we have no audio. Welcome, guys, back to the North American, or you guys had no audio, I had audio. Welcome back to the North American Squad League, guys. This is day 12. Day 12. Big day. The only thing about today is, sadly, we only have one series. New Wave had some internal issues. At least they let me know very much beforehand that they would not be able to make their game tonight. You know, they didn't just drop the ball last minute. So we will only be watching Team Sexy versus Ackerman, but I think it's still going to be a hype game. This is a game that I think a lot of us have been waiting for. Team Sexy is this team that we just saw get all the way to 3rd place in the last NACT, has done very, very well, and when they are in the tight predicament, a tight situation, and they need to make the plays that matter, they seem to do that. Ackerman, on the other hand, is this team that is kind of remolding, you know, Area 77, rebranding under a new name with some new members and making some big plays. Before I go any farther, let me introduce you to our two casters tonight, and that is Frisky and Private Dancer. How you doing tonight, Frisky?
Oh man, doing great. Glad to be back here with you guys and watching some good teams, even though it's a little name change, but we're still here to watch some good gameplay tonight. We got one good game, and I think it's going to be amazing. What about you, Private?
Bro, I am hype. It is Sunday, and of the games that we're going to be seeing, yeah, it's Sunday fun day. Of the games we're going to be seeing here, I am very excited about Ackerman because there's a lot behind these two teams. Ackerman, as we do know, does contain some of the members from the now defunct Area 77, but additionally, they have added those strong players like Zia and Kush to the roster as well, but not to keep to just kind of, but on the other side, Team Sexy. Probably one of those fan favorites that have just been coming up and coming up. One of the longest standing squads in North America here since like the very first NACT, the very first squad league. They've been competing here since the beginning, and I am very, very excited to see, especially with how they performed in these last 2 months. I'm very excited to see what they can bring, especially against a team like Ackerman. And as we saw with their debut match last week, they are a very strong force to be reckoned with. But how are they going to be able to line up against top 4, top 3, a top 3 team like Team Sexy here?
Most definitely. I don't think it's going to be easy, right? And Team Sexy doing very well right now. And, well, not super well, at least not in the league, right? But I feel like in the first half of the league, they were kind of going through that, getting that synergy back. And by the time we saw them in NACT during the split, they had really gotten it together. They had really stepped up their game. And now, even though they're sitting at the number 7 position or something like that. It looks like we got some of the numbers wrong here, but you can see where they are on the exact board, right? So now they are sitting here. They're not too far behind. They're sitting at 6 points right now. Deuce Knights is the number 6 position, just made the playoffs, sitting at 9, tied up with First Blood and Ackerman, right? So all Team Sexy really needs right now is the ability to win this game. There's 3 more series throughout the rest of the league for every team, and right now, the number 6, 5, and 4 spot are looking like a very close call. It's literally a point difference between several of these teams. So whoever gets sweeps for a sweep makes a huge difference. If you do lose a game, getting that 1 point, winning 1 game out of that best of 3 makes a huge difference and could decide on the final day whether you make it to the playoffs or not.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very interesting to see. Like I said, it's there have been such an interesting amount of growing and changes with these teams. We started, I want to say 3-4 months ago, took a break for the Challenger tournaments. And in that Challenger tournament, we saw some raised potential from some of these teams. One of them definitely being Team Sexy. Just how well they were able to cope with some of the roster changes, how they had basically come together and formed this just undeniably strong and adept squad when it comes to banning or into playing style. So I mean, it's going to be very interesting. And like I said, like you said, the not exactly at the tippy top of the squad league rankings, but I think over the last month they've come at the top of NA Hearts.
Most
to be a little cheesy.
Definitely.
There's nothing cheesy about that. I mean, and it's nice to have some teams that truly are like becoming the people's teams, like becoming teams that us as NA viewers are starting to enjoy. And the fact that is starting to happen means that some of these teams are actually getting it together, competing regularly, and the fact that we're finally getting so many more events in NA just show, and it's all just melding together, right? And it's finally giving casters like us reasons to get hype, reasons to have a team favorite, have a favorite. Like normally it's just like it's BTK or Gosu or this player, that player. We're finally at a point where we can be like, this is the team I represent. This is the team. Like we can finally be fans of a certain team, whether they win or lose, because we know they're going to be around for a while.
Definitely, I like that. Like I said, it's good that we're finally getting to that point to where you having your favorites. They might not be the top upper echelon, but you're like people are gonna love the Cowboys no matter what. The Dallas Cowboys.
I don't know about that, but
but the same sentiment. You're gonna have people that's gonna always love like Team Sexy. They're gonna be always with Team Sexy, no matter what. And these these names are getting more popular. The word is spreading around, and just as a NA player, caster, and everything, it's good to see, and it makes you feel good to know that we're finally getting that recognition as a hold territory that we got these teams that are on that level.
Well, let's not waste any time because these teams are ready to go, and we don't want to let these viewers wait anymore. We are going to be jumping into the first game of the night for the only series of tonight. If you guys have not already, make sure you smash that like button, smash the subscribe button even harder, because we're jumping into the draft of the first series of Day 12, the first and only series of Day 12. Team Sexy up against Ackerman. Team Sexy will have first ban, first pick private.
Yeah, and what the big question on my mind right now for Team Sexy is, where are we going to be putting Nicolette? I've said it before, and I'll say it again. She plays such great roles, and she's so diverse, but I don't think anything really matches her mage and mid lane ability. While she is great at that roaming, she usually I feel like it's sometimes she'll rotate into that type of position to kind of fill in gaps in the team as they have those learning curves to kind of get through. But I mean, it's a masterful team there, and then we do see a best player as well. He's consistently just a mechanically gifted player, and the likes that we usually see in the Valley with Basic or Hoon or Shark or something like that. So I'm really interested to see how we're going to be doing there. We still are not allowed, not allowed. Fredrin is still not allowed to be picked yet. We still have one more week until that that's going to be coming up, but we're going to be starting here with some very prototypical bands. The Esmeralda still a force to be reckoned with on that experience lane, with all of the sustain that she can keep up with, especially toward the end of the game. And something that's been kind of a controversy between me and Rex and the rest of the casters here is a Julian ban, because he has not found, I feel like he's still very much up in the air with how good or bad he can usually be in some of these positions in games.
Yeah. He's definitely one of those characters that still isn't, as we know his potential that he can do, but he's just not there yet to reason a whole ban slot, I should say, because he's not like that in everyone's hands yet.
I mean, and this is a team, though, like, where I think these two teams, especially on the side of Ackerman, like, we know Yato can run the Julian. I'm pretty sure their jungler Kush can run the Julian, and that whoever it falls in the right hands could do it. And same to Team Sexy. So I still like the ban. I think, and right now I feel like we're kind of at a point where the only two bans that I want to see no matter what is like the Valentina and the Faramis. Like, other than that, this is a great thing, right? Like, ML's finally, I feel like our events, our tournaments have finally been at a point where it's like, bands like a Beatrix and a Kai and Esmeralda, like, you may not see those three heroes banned every single game, but if I do see them banned, I don't think it's a bad ban. And if I don't see them banned, I also don't think it's a bad idea to not ban them. I feel like the playing field is getting very wide, and it's evening out for a lot of heroes.
Yeah.
Speaking of like the playing field right now, we have a ton of very early engagements still left out on the field. We've got the Masha, the Franco, the Balmond, which we see that Balmond's going to be getting picked up here very early for them. So, I mean, are we going to be answering with some type of offense from the side of Ackerman? That early game, what do you call it? Invades. Yeah, Thamus is, I feel like NA as a whole right now, we've kind of, we didn't see Thamus too much yesterday or last week. That is a good counter in there. He does have that, I want to say, the potential to be able to take these objectives fast, but just not at the level that Belmont is able to. And then we do see Ackerman going ahead and scooping up that Claude and Lilia. They're definitely going to be able to kind of counter any type of huge sustain heroes by slowing them down. One with that Lilia with those bombs and everything. And then as we move well into the late game, Claude being able to pick up that Demon Hunter sword, and with that Blazing Duet, just kind of dive into the back lines and be able to kind of dish out a ton of damage there. So we're going to see how well that the side of Team Sexy can adjust to that.
Okay, got a Luna and a Franco, which is definitely, no strangers to being selected in any matchup that you see these days.
Yeah, definitely no strangers at all.
Yeah.
I like the Lilia. Like I think the Lilia kind of matches you. You wanted early game aggression private. I think the Lilia gives you that, you know, and you also have, as we saw yesterday, great tower diving abilities, and Yato is just a monster on this Lilia, as we all know. But then I look over to the side of Team Sexy, and I remember in ACT getting the interview with Nicolette and talking about how they really favor that early game push, that early game ability. And Lunox, normally a lot of us consider almost a late game hero, but you do have the ability to make some ambushes in the early game and do some heavy damage, and Nicolette shows how that is possible. And now with the Franco, I'm seeing some nice rotations, some possible invades, and now with Kush picking up this Fanny this early in the draft, we possibly will have some decent counters, or at least giving Ackerman enough time to find the counter to a private.
Yeah, interestingly enough, a Fanny into a Franco is not something I see too often, just because, I'm going to say this. Kush is very confident in his ability on this Fanny by picking it into a Franco there, especially Nicolette on this Linux, and she's been favoring this Linux in the past few months, especially to kind of chew down. She's got that brilliance ultimate, that light ultimate that can kind of negate a bunch of damage or diving from the enemy team, and then she'll be able to turn around with that darkening and just start annihilating them with damage. So I do like these picks so far. They're kind of playing different games here on what their strategies are, and as we move into the second banning phase, we do see the prototypical dealing with the Atlas there. It's still something that it's very strong in NA is that Atlas, whether you're going to be picking him up, whether you're going to be banning against him, whether you're going to be countering into him. He's become a very prime and high tier roam here in NA in the last few months.
Most definitely. So with the Thamus being banned, we're starting to limit out the XP laners on the side of Team Sexy, and now we do get that Chow ban, which is going to be a nice attack at Gal's Cutie, and I think that is that's something that you have to watch out for, and we wanted to see aggression from the side of Ackerman, and this is going to kind of limit that. It's going to limit any of that big set potential from the Chow, taking out the Atlas, and especially with the composition of what Team Sexy has right now, having this Ballman, this Franco, Nicolette. Right now they're looking kind of that classic pocket formation of what we've been seeing for some teams recently, and the Atlas is something that can be detrimental to that. So the question is, what tank do we see on the side of Ackerman here?
Ooh, that is the actual question. There are still definitely good possibilities for tanks on the team right now to be picked, but who they're gonna go is always the question.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because then I'm kind of wondering, is this Masha going to be the roam, or is it going to be XP lane as well? I feel like they might be looking for something that's more of a SETI potential on the side of Ackerman, because you're going to want to kind of create that opening for Lord T to get in there from a flank on that Masha, or for Zia to get into the back lines for the Claude, because if you have nothing that's setting them, they're all just going to be able to kite backwards and kind of close ranks around any type of hero that tries to get into their back lines. And then on the side, I think we're toying with I don't really think that's going to be happening.
The Phobius might happen. It might. Yeah. The Fanny, the Claude, it's not a terrible pick, and they're going to lock it in. And I know it's so niche, it's so cliche,
yeah,
it's so but honestly, like to the facts of things, when it is picked correctly, it works. Like early game, it's a little rough, and against Hyam T is on the Masha right now, but my guess is this Masha is going to be a roamer, right? Especially if they end up picking up this glue to go in the EXP lane against this Phobius. Like with no Thamus, with no Esmeralda, with no Dyroth, he should be able to just stand still over there. Like he's not going to get too pushed in on, especially going up against a glue if this gets locked in, or Masha is going to be in the offline. So against the Masha, he may have some trouble, right? But as long as he can play it safe, he should be able to make it to the mid and late game and be helpful in these team fights.
So here's the thing right now that I'm seeing here, and this is always, I always bring this up, is when we have a non-tanky roamer, is you're gonna need some type of front line to kind of protect your squishier heroes. We don't really have that here. However, what we do have on the side of Ackerman, instead of having that tankier composition to have like a front line and a back line, is we do have like this this amazing mobility on this team right now with the black boots on Lilia, Claude being able to teleport away, Fanny with her cables, and then of course all of that being supported by a speed boost by Rafaela. So I'm kind of liking their draft here. We're going to see how well it plays into each other as we are moving into game 1 of Team Sexy taking on Ackerman.
Yeah, definitely hyped up for it, right? And I think I think that Ackerman wants to be aggressive here, right? Like you just mentioned, high mobility, a lot of dive potential with Kush and this Lilia. I mean, we saw them up against Team First Blood last week, and they were just hammering it in, hammering it home, trying to end games fast and being very hyper aggressive. So I'm wondering if that's what they're going to try to bring to the table here, Frisky.
Oh yeah, that's what I'm thinking. They have to, like, that hyper aggressiveness is something that you got to feel that's coming to play. I'm still very curious about this whole lineup that is seemingly is going to be speed versus who can make the perfect set. As you can see, we have already a high intense going on with Franco having to get out of that.
Yeah, they are already kind of trying to be a little bit more aggressive, getting pushed a little bit back. And speaking of that, we do see what we were talking about earlier, is that pressure that Lord T is able to put on to this Phoveus, especially in the early game. It's going to be kind of a problem. And Sirius backing off from this trio of Ackerman that just started beelining for him, but wisely able to kind of stay out of there. And we're kind of just toying around, both teams kind of testing the water to see how aggressive they can be or how sloppy perhaps the other team is. And I think both of these teams kind of proving that they kind of are very sharp as we move into the 20 seconds before this turtle.
Oh yeah, and to say like today, you see the Rafaela down there and is doing her job, roaming, being able to. We already got a first blood.
Kush goes a little too deep there, tries to get in, and that's a good start for Phoveus right there. That is a very good start for Phoveus.
Definitely, that's what you don't want to already getting tanked, because once he starts getting his items that he needs, he'll be able to lock down Kush always. And since this can be something that could be a mental mind game now that he got the first kill on.
Yeah, and we do see after that first turtle, they are going to go ahead and dive into this. Kush actually might have to get out of the way, so this is going to refuse him his blue, which we all know already. It's like the basics 101 of playing against a Fanny. You take that blue away from her, she's going to have an energy problem. She's not going to be able to cable in as much as she wants to. So already, we're seeing the pressure being put onto Kush here with this Fanny.
And this is where that Ballman is going to come in clutch, right? Like, the rest of Team Sexy kind of favors the late game, at least in my opinion. Brody, mid-game, but the rest of the team more mid-late. But the Ballman is what's going to really kind of help aid them in these early stages, and especially the way best players playing it right now.
Just a great synergy there as Shinra able to flicker in with that suppression, that bloody hunt there to go ahead and latch onto Zia, and there was nothing he could do. There's 4 members of Team Sexy there, and they collapsed in with like poetry in motion. That one was.
Yeah, and actually Rafaela got the kill on that too, and that would be, if anything, that would be the one person you would want on the opposing team getting that kill and getting that gold. You don't want that going to someone like high ETM or someone that can use that gold right off the bat.
Ooh, nice hook that does land onto Rafaela, but is able to get away. I guess more or less that wasn't really meant to kill or do anything more than to just let them know hooks are incoming for the rest of this game. So be aware.
Yeah, and I mean, and first that Holy Baptism landed, right? And Shinra's there to help out. For a second, I was worried about Nicolette, but Shinra is there to help out. But once again, this blue buff is getting stolen away.
Oh, yeah, it was not able to get it. Gets stolen away there as we continue on with this demonic force, and actually maybe a little bit of trouble here. We do see some slowing on more demonic force here. He's going pretty deep, and here comes the Holy Baptism, and it is going to be able to take out XP Gap. But we do have a suppression onto Lord T here, but Nicolette able to get the kill onto Rafaela there. So it is a 3-3 game, but we have kind of opened up this turtle for the side of Team Sexy.
Yeah, and best player takes it. I mean, it's a good play by best player. Whole team's doing all right. We are at a 3-3 right now. Gold lead is in the favor of Team Sexy right now, and they're doing a good job. Like, I was a little worried if they were going to be ready for the aggression that Ackerman might bring, but right now Ackerman seems to practically be on the back foot here, Frisky.
Oh yeah, and I'm saying, just looking at best player, his jungling, his line jungle is amazing. He's going through everywhere and it's so clean and precise. It looks like they're all about to dive again top lane.
Yes. Oh, we do see a fight here coming in as Sirius does get taken out. We do have that Brilliance getting activated, but 3 members here are closing in, and there is nowhere for Nicolette and the Franco to go as they are getting cleaned up by Ackerman here, and they're going to go ahead and take this first tower from Team Sexy.
Oh, this is crazy because this goal is staying within like 1K goal going back and forth. And that's how you know that everyone are on the P's and Q's tonight for this game, and I just love to see it.
Most definitely. Now, high MT right now, cutting this lane. I mean, and this is normally a spot where Area 77 would be bouncing in, and right now Ackerman doing the same as well. Right around that when that mid game starts, they kind of have a rough first 3 or 4 minutes. It's kind of been the story that's always been for them, but right when that snap comes for the mid game, they hit that spike, and they love to play heroes that hit that spike around that time, and they just start hammering it in, and it looks like they're losing a lot of times in the first start of the game, but then we get around here, and out of nowhere, they are just dominating.
Yeah, and it kind of started out with Shinra kind of being a little too greedy. Oh, we do have a Blazing Duet that does go on to XP gap. He is down to about 10% health, but here comes Nicolette and the rest of Team Sexy, and they're going to go ahead and latch onto Rafaela, and there isn't really much that Ackerman can do. We are trying to put some damage onto Nicolette, who is going to go ahead and expend that flicker. Shinra is still taking the damage, and he is still going to be taken out here, but that does mean that best player is in a decent position, is going to go ahead and use that dash to get away. A great focus by the side of Ackerman there to kind of continue on that damage without taking another kill there and trying to even it out there. They're still continuing the pressure on here. Look at best player, the damage that he's taken right now, and Nicolette can't even teleport away safely right now. Up at the top floor, T is just putting the boots to this tower. He's down to 1 health bar left, but he is going to be able to escape, and here is going to be the first turtle that Ackerman's going to be able to secure this game.
That is so good for them to be able to do that. They was able to apply pressure top and to get everyone away, because you saw them earlier setting up for that turtle. And then everyone just like, they got split away. They took that top tower. They had to go back, and then they just left turtle for them free to get that gold, that experience, that added shield. All those small little things are going to help and keep that momentum in their favor.
Yeah, definitely the momentum is a big shift into the side of Ackerman right now. They turned a 3K deficit to a 3K lead. They've now taken a turtle, and they're hammering home on these towers. At this point, Team Sexy needs to figure out some way. Someone has to stay on T, right? They can't let this split pushing happening, but for that... Ooh.
Yeah, we do see the engagement come in here. I think he was able to secure the blue, but best player gets taken out there. Demonic Force is activated, but a beautiful hook by Shinra is able to suppress and take out Kush. Another Demonic Force coming in, but that might be the expenditure of it as Zia is on the run right now. Black Boots has been activated, and a hook lands on. What a read by Shinra to grab him and snatch him right at the end of that. Black Boots there to kind of even out this playing field for this fight. It is now 6-9, only a 2K gold lead by Ackerman.
And I mean, so they are coming back, right? We're seeing a little bit of a comeback, but wait a second. Serious XP gap goes down. T able to steal that and walk away safely.
Yeah, and we are starting to... Oh, another hook there. T might be in a little bit of trouble there. You see the Holy Baptism coming in there, but I'm not sure that's going to be able to protect this tower as it is on his last leg, and the rest of Ackerman is trying to teleport away. 6-10 right now, still a 2K gold lead, but it does look better for Team Sexy moving into the 9th minute.
Oh man, this is crazy. You know, we're not gonna be able to get a break because every time it settles down, someone is doing something crazy or getting picked. These hooks are amazing. Just seeing them pull these hooks off. Shinra has been almost about 100% tonight with them.
Yeah, and look at Ballman and Kush. I mean, look at Kush and Best Player right now. Tied up in the gold. Both of them, even though they've taken some deaths, they've done a good job at their pathing, a good job at their jungling. But the real people I think we need to focus in on right now is Claude and Brody, right? Claude is just about there, right? One more damage item, and he could be a major problem. But another hook from Shinra.
Oh my god, what a beautiful set by the rest of the team there to kind of jump in there, but they are answered on Ackerman's side by Kush coming in there and getting the kill onto Nicolette, and Shinra pays for it as well. So they are able to take these hooks and reply to Team Sexy here as they are on the Lord here right now. It's still at about half health as they are trying to come in here. Not sure if this is the fight you want because if you get the Lord, what else do you have here? Best player able to pick up the Lord as Kush and the rest of Team Ackerman are trying to disengage here. Hopefully the rest of the team is on the same page. Of course, squishes Zia and he gets taken out there into the back line, and that is what you get with the mid to late game Phoveus and these demonic forces that have been diving well into the back line. But right now, we do see that Lilia gets taken out there as well. On the flank, we have Best Player. We have a concealed play coming in. Let's land onto Masha, and they are going deep onto Shinra right now, who's trying to escape. He's not going to get away from Masha, but this mid tower is getting taken out right now. This isn't even a Luminous Lord right now, so a great value coming from Team Sexy here. We do see the Blazing Duet by Zia coming in here right now, but this tower is not going to be able to take it, and that's going to probably be it for this Lord. But what a monumental value from this on the side of Team Sexy.
Now listen here. Listen here. Phoveus, what? Phoveus, what? Clutch right now. And this is what I mean. Like sometimes that pick is so like, but when it does, and I feel like Team Sexy picked it right here, right? You have a lot of targets, and honestly, there's no like Cho on the field. There's no like tank that you have to worry about you're gonna lock onto. There's literally the people that dash here are the ones he wants, and he is making sure it counts, and Shinra as well. Almost every hook has been landing. There's been one hook now where he's done it, and he got killed for it, right? The rest of the team closed in on him, but so far, Shinra has been on fire, and at this point, Team Sexy is coming back, but overall, what a game we have had. Back and forth, Frisky.
Yes, this is amazing. Just from it all started from that pick. You would think that, they got the 2-kill lead, but then Ballman came, stole the Lord, and it just went off from there. You saw all these hooks, and every hook they capitalized on it, was able to get a kill, and if not more. Then you had Phoveus going on top and just capitalized on people trying to escape. And it's like, it feels like people get into that fight or flight response and they flee away using these abilities or skills, and they forget that there's a Phoveus on the team.
Oh, yeah. Every time I see Shinra on a bush.
They are going to go ahead and engage here right now. Looks like they're kind of paddywhacking around here. They're trying to refuse this blue. They don't want Fanny to get it because this is going to set up for them right now. We do get a hook, but it's not on the right buff there. We do have demonic forces coming in as Kush is able to take down Franco Shinra, and now we see more demonic force into the back lane. Nicolette able to take down Masha, but it does look like XP Gap is going to have a little bit of trouble. Is getting picked off by Zia, and this is 3 members on the side of Team Sexy going down as Best Players trying to get away, getting slowed down. His dash is not going to be enough. They are taking him to Pound Town with no chance for an escape, as now they're going to turn their attention to this Lord. And unfortunately, I feel like they really kind of forced the fight there because they did not want Fanny to get that blue, and in that put themselves in a very uncomfortable situation there in that tight area by the blue buff.
Yeah, man. Like in hindsight, I don't think. But okay, then.
Shut down.
Those hooks, yeah, that's really good.
Shut down.
Always be ready. I don't care how good of a fight you just had. You have to be ready. This is not just any old team. This is Team Sexy that you're going up against. You need to be ready. Know that they are going to, as soon as they spawn, they're going to come running. They're going to know what you have in mind. And right there, we had Shinra right there to be able to take down Fanny with that suppression as they went, thought they were going to be able to steal a blue buff.
Yeah, that was just wrong place, wrong time. All that, like you said, suppression on him. Kush didn't have a chance to hit any buttons really before it was too late, and he was already dead.
Might have a little bit of action down here. And at this point, I think Team Sexy is playing hold on. I think Team Sexy is playing good. What? All right, never mind.
They land the hook, but onto a Masha, so that's not really what you want. The rest of the team is trying to close in as they see the abilities being expanded. And there goes Kush, honing in onto Shinra's Franco and able to take him down. So now we have a 5v4 here. Oh, wait, actually, up at the top, we do see that Balmon, kind of a little bit of a base race. That's why Masha decided to go back home, saw this being pushed up at top, and Best Player doing a good job of split pushing while the rest of the team needing here and being able to defend this tower with only 3 players. So a good job by the side of Team Sexy here to kind of split up the priority and know what they have to do while letting and allowing Best Player that room to kind of split push as well.
I feel like this has really been kind of a game of like who takes the engage first, like who jumps in first, because earlier Team Sexy was doing so well, and I feel like it was because they were kind of waiting, letting Kush come in, getting him with that bloody hunt, things like that, right? But earlier when they tried to steal that blue buff and they were the aggressors, Kush was able to come in a little bit later into that team fight and make a huge difference, take Shinra out, right? So I think it's going to really come down to, you know, who makes the first play here and how they make it. Can Shinra make sure that bloody hunt lands on someone important? Because if he doesn't, it is going to look very bad in the middle parts of those team fights. If Kush can come in later or Zia can find the right angle into the back line, it is going to look very rough for Team Sexy. But the same goes for the opposite side. If Nicolette can come in or Shinra can land one of these hooks, especially as we creep into the late game, you know, it could spell GG's for the game.
Yeah, like I said, it's coming down on like those which ability hits first and who get hits with that said ability. Because as we saw earlier, we did get a hook under tower, but that was on a Masha, and you're not going to get much done right there. But if that would have been anyone else literally on that team, they would have been dead. So it's all going to come about and look like a big fight over this Luminous Lord that we see both teams set up.
Yeah, they're setting up right now, but it does come down to communication as well. If you do have Shinra land a hook onto Masha, the rest of the team needs to recognize that and not expend all their abilities trying to take him down, because that is where they are failing here. And we do see that we are starting up on this Lord. They see an opening. Oh, they do land a hook. Is this going to be what they want? Is this going to be?
Oh my God.
Lord going over to the side of Ackerman, and here comes the blazing duet onto the rest of Team Sexy. Nicolette goes down right now to Masha, and they are in a bad way as Best Player gets taken out. As well, we have the demonic force still coming down here, but Sirius going down as well as Shinra. It is a 1v5 right now. This is not where you want to be as Team Sexy right now. They just lost the Lord. They are trying to get away, and it is going to be a 1v5 game as we have a Luminous Lord coming down to the bottom. And as we all know, Phoveus is not known for his
wave clear
ability.
Oh man.
So we do have this Lord crashing in. Yeah, we do. They're latching on to Phoveus right now, who doesn't have that demonic force up right now. He is going to get taken out, and this is going to be a wrap for Team Sexy as this game goes over to Ackerman.
That was amazing. The back and forth that we just saw between these two teams is the action you see when you're watching the NAC. Like, that was so great. I was excited that whole time. I don't know about you guys.
Definitely a very, very hype game. Super excited about it. And it came down. I mean, first of all, the Raph took the Lord there. I think when me and Frisky both saw that, we're like, what? Right. I mean, the timing on that, the fact that Ballman was still in the field, but just the overall presence. I think in the end there, what happened was Team Sexy just got a little too split up in that last team fight. They got a little too split up, and Kush was able to kind of weave and bob through that blue buff on Sexy's side of the jungle and just pick off. First he takes out Nicolette, then Zia's on the on his own, and EXP Gap tries to come in at the last minute to help out Sirius, but it's just too late. Everyone else is falling on different sides of the map, and Team Ackerman pulls it together. I think they wanted a split up fight, right? They don't need to be all huddled together. If they can make Team Sexy disburse from each other, they have the advantage, and they made it count. Once they got that Lord, it was a clean sweep. The book was closed.
I want to see. I would love to see that last fight again, because I feel like what happened there is Raphael was in the fray there, and as soon as that Lord came into that scope of like 6,000 damage or 6,000 health points left on there, that's when Raph decided to go ahead and use that holy baptism to throw it in there, which stunned Belmont from being able to do anything to be able to unleash that damage that he's known for, to be able to pick up those objectives. And then the rest of the team, including Raph, were able to just kind of peel away at the Lord. However, to me, it might have been a little bit more questionable to start the Lord at that point either. Because I mean, it's something that I see sometimes where like the Lord's up, so they just immediately, teams immediately go for it without actually, they're kind of like, you're basically flipping a coin there. If you have not secured kills, if you don't have either the jungler down, or at least like a 2-kill 2 kills with waiting, or 2 people off the board for the enemy team, you're basically rolling the dice there if you don't have a plan when that engagement happens. They started the Lord, and you still had all of Team Ackerman there lying in wait, and they were ready. And so not only are you fighting Team Ackerman, but you're also fighting a Lord who's doing damage to you as well. And I feel like Team Ackerman probably in a little bit of a better position because they were spread out on the outside of that little Lord area, while the rest of Team Sexy was kind of inside that little Lord area. And once those pop-ups went up from the Lord, they were still taking that damage as well as competing with Ackerman.
Yeah, like you said, it was just a flip of the coin toss on that, because you got the Lord coming in from the stun, you got the Lord from Raph, the stun from Raph. He had so much going against him at that one time. No matter how much damage Ballman can be putting out, 10k plus, no matter what he can do with the rec tree and everything, if it's just a flip of the coin and he gets stunned up at that last little second, you have Raph getting the Lord, which I'm still that's just ridiculous for me to think about. A Raph took the last Lord in that and helped push that whole end game.
Yeah, I think Team Sexy just tried to make a play a little too fast. I think they were doing well when they were just taking things slow. Shinra was getting those hooks, just kind of making bushwork here and there, moving around, not trying to like make any game finishing plays. But when they went onto that Lord and moved in and thought this, because at that point it was like an all or nothing play, when I don't think it really had to be at that stage in the game. They could have more jocked with the Lord, played it kind of slow, but I think when you have that Ballman, right, like you have this feeling that you can just like, oh, let's start the Lord, I got this. And Private, I think you're exactly right. I think that Holy Baptism landed on Ballman as well, and just and like it just stopped. It was able to make the stun because they were very grouped up in that Lord pit. Like there was like 4 or 5 people all sitting in that small circle, like waiting for the moment to happen, right? So, and then once the Lord did come, like the Lord goes down, Team Sexy just, I don't know, like they could have fallen back, maybe tried to save it, but they just weren't able to. Everyone kind of maybe I think at that point you're like, man, we lost the Lord and everything's going on and so on and so forth. Ackerman takes the game. Let's not waste any more time though. Let's see. So the question is, right, Team Sexy did do well that game. I think they could, I don't think it's out of realm for them to take game 2 here, like come back, maybe take to game 2. I still don't feel like this is just a guaranteed clean sweep for Ackerman.
Oh, definitely no. With that team, we saw the back and forth we just saw. I don't think anyone in chat, anyone watching this can think this is just going to be a clean sweep, because it was so indecisive with almost seemingly every other fight. It was going into someone else's favor, be it Team Sexy's or not. And I don't think this should deter Team Sexy. I think they should stick to their guns, work on a communication a tad bit more. Because like I said, that end fight from the last game, there were someone way up top. It was just people kind of spread out. It only seemed like there was only a couple of them in that pit where you had a full team of Ackerman in there, which allowed them to get that Lord. So I hope they don't let this get to them, and they can just, maybe adjust just a few things and stay in this fight.
And now we are jumping into the draft here. So it's going to be Ackerman up against Team Sexy once again. Ackerman will have first ban, first pick. We are seeing a few different things. The Eve getting banned out this time. The Julian still banned from the side of Ackerman. It seems like it's something they just don't want to deal with private.
Yeah, one thing I want to say too is that on the side of Team Sexy, both comps were very well played together. It just, I feel like maybe a few more mistakes came out of Team Sexy for the comp, especially when it comes to, like, we were talking about the hooks that Franco was landing almost all of his hooks. However, were the targets what you wanted to land on? And that's where it comes into play. If you pull in a Masha, there needs to be that communication of like, no, it's a Masha, like let her go. Like just because you're just gonna expend so much time sitting there trying to DPS her down, and you have the entire team, the enemy team, Ackerman, waiting for the right moment. As soon as all these stuns come out, as soon as all these abilities come out, that's when they're gonna come in and pounce. And I think that was kind of that kind of paved the way for them to kind of negate this Franco. They were all grouped up, and you have Masha or Rafaela in the front there, kind of waiting and baiting out that hook. Because as when the hook landed, the entire team did what they were supposed to. They latched onto whoever was hooked. They were right there, one after the other. However, there needs to be that extra step of if I land the wrong target, we need to have an out for that as well. Interestingly enough, we do see Ackerman picking up a Kai, and on the it has been picked, right? The Diggy has been picked, so a good counter for that Akai there. Definitely want to see how Shinra can pull this out as well, because I think this is probably the first time I've seen him play Diggy as well.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what Shinra's Diggy can bring to this, if they will build a Diggy more of a mage burst, or if they will use it more of the just utility side of being able to support your team and using it for vision and things of that nature. Because Diggy is, to me, a toss-up of being either really good or really bad, but it all depends on how they're being played. But with we knowing this in the hands of Shinra, I can only imagine what he can do with Diggy this game.
Listen, man, I like the Diggy, and especially against the Akai. Honestly, I'm slowly becoming a fan of Diggy, even like outside of his, like, I think he's edging his way back out of like being a niche pick to only counter. He's becoming more and more popular, not only here, but all over right now. Like, a lot of ex-support players are picking him up. People who used to play things like Estes and things like that, like, they're using this Diggy, and they're using it very well. Not only that, but with so much focus coming onto the gold lane recently, he does so well down there. If Diggy wants to go down in the gold lane, like right here, help out Sirius, that reverse time, that second skill, can be a game changer, can secure a kill against the enemy gold laner. And like, it works so well, not only to counter the Akai, but also just in other spots around the map.
Well, yeah, and it's honestly, it's one of those abilities, the ability that reverse time, where it kind of rubber bands the opponent back into a spot. It works just like Faramis's Shadow Stampede, where he goes into that phantom mode and is able to kind of pull you back into them. It's just so great for ganks, and especially in the gold lane, where heroes don't really have this huge pool of health to contend with a lot of ganking potential there. Right now, we are moving into the second round of the banning phase here. We do see Phoveus getting taken off the map by the side of Team Sexy here, which is interesting. I guess maybe because they don't want the counter for the Benedetta being out there. It's just I haven't seen it played often enough to think it warranted a ban. And then we see that respect ban for Nicolette coming out as Linux gets taken off the table.
Oh yeah, like I said, definitely a respect ban, because they know that Linux was doing major damage, especially when it was paired with that Franco last game. So I just think, and that's just kind of a compliment, you know, hey, we're gonna take your best mage out of the game for right now. And but we all know Nicolette has almost any mage in Nicolette's hand is going to be dangerous. So I just think that just frees up the ability for someone else that they might not be as comfortable with playing against, at least in their hands. I think they're just going to free up some space to more unpredictability, I should say.
Yeah, so let's break down what we got here, right? So on the side of Ackerman, I feel like those first three picks, very well-rounded, and I love it when teams do this. You pick up your gold laner immediately, you pick up your mage, and you pick up a jungler, tank, off laner, but you cover three solid bases, right? You cover some distance, you cover your front line, and on the side of Team Sexy, you kind of see a similar, but with this
Benedetta jungle, which it could be a swap to the XP lane. Paquito could end up being in the jungle. Best player, I have seen him on the Paquito. I have not seen him on the Benedetta, I don't think yet. This is kind of a new thing for me if they decide to have that be the jungler. Now, Benedetta's been creeping her way, poking the head more and more and more, especially recently, last week. Yesterday, we saw her like, what, 3 or 4 times, whether she be jungler, EXP, whatever. But, so I'm seeing a little bit, like, when I look at the side of Ackerman, I mean, it looks good. It looks just very well-rounded front to back composition. You have some nice dive potential, but you also have some nice damage from the back line with that Beatrix.
Yeah, the only thing is, like we said, it depends on how well you can play that Beatrix into these situations. I don't really have any question about best player playing it, but sometimes it's not just about how well you can play it, but when you choose your battles. We saw yesterday, Beatrix not really able to join into a lot of the team fights, waiting it out to be able to kind of come in towards the end and kind of pick off those heroes that were low. So, I mean, not exactly, I don't want to say the greatest team fight potential coming out of it sometimes, but we do see Sicilian getting picked up as a last pick for the side of Team Sexy here, and yeah, we're gonna be seeing how well these kind of clash into each other. I do feel like we're kind of leaning, with the exception of Paquito, I think we're kind of leaning into the late game, mid to late game a little bit more heavily than I'm used to seeing from Team Sexy here. So they're definitely trying to adjust their kind of composition a bit in their play style a bit, but I'm a little happy now because I get to see Poe up in there on that guy.
Very true. We will get to see Poe in this game. Now, this could be the final game of the series, or Team Sexy could pull it off and bring us to game 3. But if you're just coming in, this is the North American Squad League. Team Sexy going up against Team Ackerman. Frisky, how you feeling about this?
Oh man, I'm still feeling good, especially because we just don't normally see this here in A. Like I said, seeing a Diggy, you got so much potential to see some interesting plays happen out of this team, out of this game. And from last game, we just know it's going to be a brawl out from the get-go.
Most definitely. And I like that Sicilian pick, right? Like, the Sicilian comes in, and yes, they are kind of onto this late game, but I do think the Sicilian can work against the Akai, right? Like, you have a nice range. If the heavy spins comes out, you use the Bat's Feast, you position yourself. So with the composition that Ackerman has brought, I felt like that was kind of a good answer. Now, is it going to be helpful in these early stages? Maybe not a lot, but as we creep into the mid and late game, it could be the game changer.
Well, I like the synergy coming from Team Sexy and the potential for what these wombo combos can be. Because one of the abilities you didn't mention was the Sanguine Claws. You can group them, the enemy team, Ackerman, all together, and then you'll be able to do some damage with a Paquito in there, with Sirius on that Blazing Duet, and then you have an out with Shinra or an engagement tool. So we're going to see how well it goes into it, because we cannot count Ackerman out. They have been so dominant so far in the last week and this week with that. Well, I wouldn't say super dominant in that last game, but they were able to hold their own, had a game plan, and able to execute it perfectly to round out to a victory in the last game.
It looks like they're getting an early little touch on each other. Nothing too intense right now. Still playing the field. No one's fully committing yet, but yeah, it looks like they're going to back away. And you see Kai just going to maybe focus and get that turtle while they get their other jungle.
Yeah, interestingly enough, he has started on the turtle, but down at the bottom, Paquito is getting the gold off of this tower. The rest of Ackerman doing a great job of zoning away Team Sexy for that turtle. So not really much that they can do to kind of contest that. Even Paquito really not doing, wasn't able to make much happen from it, as he was able to get some type of gold off of this, off the tower. And here comes Ackerman again on this Uranus, who is just known to be cutting into the back lane. We do have a reverse time here with a Blazing Duet onto Zia. Is this going to be enough to take him down? It is not. And down goes Shinra. First blood going over to Team Ackerman here, as best player trying to back off away from here. Nicolette on the side there, misses with the Sanguine Claws, trying to put some damage on. Oh, wow. And right now, it looks like a little bit
the disrespect.
Damage there.
Could be next.
What happens? And
now
double kill? We have Lilia in a little bit of trouble. It's going to get picked up with an auto attack, but here comes the reverse time has been put onto him, and he might be in a little bit of trouble too himself. Oh, but a bait! Here comes the heavy spin. Nicolette is running, is so thirsty for that kill, but is not going to be able to get it. It might actually pay for it, but here comes the rest of Team Sexy to support that deep dive, as Nicolette's going to have a decent time being able to get away now. So what a great play and presence of mind, and on top comes Team Sexy there for that engagement.
Listen, it all started when Zia missed that sniper shot. Sirius is sitting still under the tower. Zia could have probably taken him out. He's recalling, and I don't know if it's nerves, what happened, but Zia misses him by like a hair. And at that point, I'm like, what's going on here? And then you just have Nicolette rotate up and just starts picking people up. And we're only at like 3.5 minutes, right? So with 2 kills under Nicolette's belt right now, we're turning this mid to late game hero into something that could pop off much sooner than they even planned for. So this is a wonderful start for the side of Team Sexy. Gold is still at a draw, but I still feel like it looks good for Team Sexy overall. But hold on a second, what is this?
Yeah, it looks like Lord T is made himself. He's claimed this land as his own right now. This is no longer Team Sexy's core. That is his. We do see right now that Matilda is trying to zone out the rest of the team, is taking a decent amount of damage. We have 4 members of Ackerman, and Turtle has been reset. So now the rest of Team Sexy is here to kind of support this push right now. Are they going to be able to get a push? His Retry Fu is definitely stronger than Team Sexy right now, as he's able to pick up that turtle.
Yeah, that was nice.
And they are going to go ahead and reorganize on the map, while still inside the enemy base. We have Uranus, wild Uranus, just chilling inside the base around the jungle.
This is a Uranus in his natural habitat right now, the enemy base.
And that.
So
I mean,
mean,
it worked out in their favor, though. I mean, you got Uranus getting that gold, you know, cutting off 2 lanes of having minions coming down and to press against the enemy tower. So I think, and they got Turtle because of that too during all of that. So as weird as that is, Uranus is
no, that's a wonderful play. That works so well in their favor. You cut the lane, you cut both lanes. And now T is just able to really be even more bothersome. They need to do something about him soon, or it's going to cause a lot of map control on this bot to middle side.
Well, and that's what it's doing, is once you cut the lane like that, not only are you putting pressure onto that bottom tower, but you're going to be able to allow Uranus to get to these team fights before you as well, which is going to start being worse and worse as we move later and later into this game. We do see a 3-on-1 right here. Matilda does get hit with that reverse time. It is going to be able to get away. Oh, we do have a final shot that does go out there. Does not connect entirely, and now we have a 3v3. Nicolette is coming up here onto the backside. Reverse time lands onto Kush, but he's able to get away with the help of Matilda.
Man, they need to do something about this Uranus right now. They need to, like, and I get it, like, they're sending Paquito, like, okay, you go lane cut too, right? But the thing is Paquito can't go in the base and lane cut, right? Like, he can't do what a Uranus does. So, like, I think at this point, Paquito might just need to go back and stay, like, you need to glue someone to that Uranus at this point. Like, you need to, because we're now seeing minions chipping away at that middle tower. We're seeing things like that happen, and now Lord T is almost caught off. Can they get the finish here?
Ooh, yeah, Lord T is going to go ahead and pop off that sprint. Is going to be able to get away. We have the machine gun going out. Benedetta gets caught. Taken out by Zia, as we are at a halfway point for this turtle right now. The rest of Team Sexy here trying to contest it. Kush still picks up the turtle, and look at that latch on to XP gap, as he's going to be, look at the damage. He is going to be able to get away there, as Nicolette is going to try to clear up this lane, but he has 3 members of Ackerman trying to come for him right now. It's such a great job, like you were talking about. He's not only getting the bottom lane, when he's inside the base like that, Uranus, he's able to cut off 2 lanes and creates an immense amount of pressure for both the mid and bottom lane, especially once we get into these. Look at all these cutting right now. This is just like a school for macro gameplay being put on by Ackerman right now. Shinra in a little bit of trouble, is going to have to disengage here. They have created a little bit of a gap in between their team right now, as Lord T is surrounded. Reverse time does latch onto him. I'm not sure that they're going to be able to pick up the kill, because now we have 4 members of Ackerman here. In comes Benedetta. We have a brawl going on right now. The rest of Team Sexy able to get away back to safety. But man, they are still. Oh, Shinra does die. Get yanked in there. Is going to get taken out as Ackerman dives into that tower. And right now, Lord T is almost unstoppable.
Very, very unstoppable, and there's nothing they can do about it now. And this is once again, what did I say last game? 6-7 minutes. Ackerman comes online. They were looking a little rough there for a second, but now they are here to play, and they found their moment.
Oh, we do have that heavy spin, that beat that brings best player well deep into enemy territory. Is going to go ahead and use that ultimate to get away, and Nicholas getting taken care of at the bottom. XP Gap gets taken down as well. And one thing that we weren't talking about as Uranus was in there taking up all this, he was also getting fed 2 lanes worth of gold. So right now he's basically like 1 to 2K over everybody else on the team right now. So like you're gonna have a rough time trying to take him down, and there's gonna need to be some type of answer as he is just becoming debilitating. He's in the jungle. You really can't stop him. And right now we do see the engagement as both teams are reset with this first Lord on the map.
Yeah, I think you said it right there. He was fed 2 CS where he was fed 2 lanes worth of gold, and now he has that gap, and he can go and apply pressure to any and every lane and get out without worrying about anyone.
What? What was that? I don't understand why they started that and did not try to secure it. And this is like one of those taking Lord 101. Always assume that an enemy is coming, and Benedetta had well more than enough time to come in, use that ultimate, and still get the retry off to steal this turtle. And at the very least, this is going to provide Team Sexy with a little bit of breathing room. And now we start seeing that they are starting to try to pick up these kills, putting a lot of pressure onto this mid lane while Uranus is up at the top trying to solo it. We have Blazing Duet deep into enemy lines. He's going to get popped up by Kush, but this tower is still going to go down, and there's not much that the side of Ackerman can do to stop it. And they need to keep safe, and keep their game plan together as they do have that Lord crashing in at the bottom. They might be able to pick up another one. Still a great value for this non-luminous Lord. Matilda is not going to be able to stop it. We do see that Diggy Pound coming in there. Are they going to force this fight? As we do have Lord T here right now, deep inside the lanes here. We have an engagement here. Best player trying to disengage. Lord T in the background, trying to take people down, is going to get bamboozled there, but Sirius is going to get that kill picked up on him.
Who do we follow? Who do we follow?
Right?
Yeah, I don't know if you're right now. We do see Matilda does land on with that circling eagle, but best player and XP Gap are going to be able to try to get away. I spoke too soon. Best player might be in a little bit of trouble. That time journey saved his life. What a beautiful ult by Diggy. That patience that he had to wait to use that to try to help the escape of XP Gap to kind of get out of harm's way.
So this is what I mean when I talk about Team Sexy is when the moment comes, best player, Nicolette, they can pull it together, right? But wait a second, Zia will go down. A nice pick from Shinra there. Mid lane is getting pushed in by High MT, but the point is best player saves the day with that Lord Steal, right? And they get a little shaky sometimes, but then there's just those moments where Team Sexy, let's get cheesy, wins your heart, Frisky.
Yeah, they definitely do, because everyone in the chat, everywhere else, they were like, oh man, it's over. And then you see this amazing Lord Steal followed up by 3 tower takes. And it's just like, what happened? That goal lead that they had literally went away within 30 seconds. All because of this one amazing steal. And now they're right back in this game. And I think that was just what they needed. And I think this is why the fans, the people love Team Sexy, because they do things like this and just get you more invested in the game.
Oh, Lord T is going to go ahead and have to activate that consecration to get that health
back. About to kill Gap.
Oh my God.
To get the kill onto Gap, and the rest of the team is coming in here. Nicolette's going to have to disengage with the rest of Team Sexy, but there is pressure onto this bottom lane. Here comes the Blazing Duet into the back line, but he quickly gets popped up by Kush, and a great read by the side of Ackerman here too, waiting for that Blazing Duet to come in and then popping him up immediately to stop off all of that damage that Claude can do. Best player going in does run into a bush camp and is going to have to disengage, so that blue buff no longer belongs to him.
That is disgusting.
This is all because of that early game Uranus, because now Uranus is out of control, 2v1 people, under towers, everything else, and it just all came back to hunt them while now they're engaging on the Luminous Lord.
Yeah, they're starting on the Lord. It's only about 10% left. The Blazing Duet is here in the back line. Kush able to pick up the Lord, but what do you do here? Are you going to disengage, or are you going to try to fight this?
Serious?
Sirius is still here. He is going to take down Matilda. More damage coming on as the rest of Ackerman able to pick up the kill onto Sirius, so it is a 1-1 exchange, but now Ackerman have a Luminous Lord that is going to be able to help them, and right now they're trying to line up these lanes for another solid push into the core.
So you have to be really careful where you place that battle mirror image, right? Because like it looked really good for Sirius for a second there, but Kush just walked over to where he knew he was going to flicker back and was ready to pin him to that wall. But the Lord is coming now. Can they end this here?
Yeah, they're going to try. They're not actually able to pick up much with the Lord right now. They're actually putting a lot of damage onto it really quickly. It looks like this bottom tower is actually going to be able to survive. But right now, the other lanes, right now, they do have a great amount of clear. There goes the mid tower. We are left to only inhibitors now for the side of Team Sexy. And this is all going to kind of be on the shoulders of Nicolette in that back lane and the rest of Team Sexy to kind of keep that front line, because Nicolette is coming online, does have the items that she needs to be able to do the damage. It's just, can we group up Ackerman to be able to put this damage onto them?
Yeah, I think Nicolette probably just need a couple more magic pin items though, because I'm sorry, Uranus and that tanky team is just really healthy right now, and it's almost like no damage hurts them, but if it does, they get all that health right back within disengaging, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, luckily though, as you mentioned, Private, like Nicolette could be the saving grace here. We do know that from earlier team fights, even when Team Sexy is at a bit of a deficit, they have the ability to possibly make a game-changing play, and this could be it.
No, it doesn't look like they're going to be able to capitalize on it. They landed a beautiful Sanguine Claws from that Sicilian. Here goes another reverse time that does half Lord T, but he's just going to get that health back right now. And this is coming to target choice. We need to understand who we're going to be looking for in these engagements and who we want to put this damage onto, because we're kind of wasting it on Uranus, who is basically trying to bait out these abilities so that the rest of his team can come in and put the damage onto this tower right now. Looks like they are wise to it. They are trying to take down these minions here. But they are kind of stuck turtling, being forced to turtle into these lanes right now. I mean, Lord T is basically just that. I was gonna say he's like bothersome, like a gnat, but I mean, gnats don't take damage like that. Right? he's bothersome like a rhino buzzing around you, I guess. Right. We do see that. We do see that the rest of the team is coming in here to try to defend and pick up this red. They are able to secure it, but now they're gonna have to reset, kind of waiting for a mistake from Ackerman.
Yeah, right now, T is definitely the immovable object, and they do not have the unstoppable force to put him down at all. I mean, maybe Nicolette can get to that point. I think at this point, if Team Sexy can keep pushing in, they could do something, but Immigrant may have trouble here.
Yeah, Lilia is trying to disengage, but they are trying to force them away while this Lord is going to get picked up by Zia, and now they might be in a bad spot here as they are trying to disengage, and Time Journey does come out, trying to help the team to run away. Down goes Shinra, so this is now a 4v5 game with the Luminous Lord coming on the way. A little health left on this tower, and they are going to be able to take it down. There goes Nicolette, and that is the biggest part of their damage that would be able to defend here. So this is not where you want to be. Still 30 seconds left till Nicolette can get back on the board, and that is a huge chunk of your defense and your clearing ability in these lanes gone.
Yeah, and with Lord coming, this could be a 2-0 sweep for Ackerman, and it's something that they need, but this is also something that Team Sexy needs so bad to be able to take a win here if they want to make it to the playoffs. This could be the end for them.
Yeah, we see best player has split off in to try to take up this Lord. The rest of Ackerman able to take up the top inhibitor. There is only one inhibitor left. Sirius does go down at the hands of Zia with that sniper shot. Nicolette is back on the board. Is she going to be able to put some damage on to protect this core? The XP lane goes down now as well. Core is at half health, and it is getting taken down. This looks like it might be game 2 for Ackerman. Yeah, they're not even No tower lock? I think, are they waiting?
T's damage is too low. He just, yeah, this one.
They're just messing around. This is a beautiful game two for Ackerman, and they have hit the ground running with this week and last week with how hard they have come in to these two series. What a dominating performance, especially for that second game from Team Ackerman.
Yeah, a very, very dominating performance at that, Frisky.
No, yeah, I'm just amazed by. I was about to say there's more like a Team T there in that game because he literally from about that midpoint, and I say mid, it was probably about 3-4 minutes in where he started going back in their base and claiming it at his own. And just look at the gold lead he has compared to the enemy team, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's definitely insane. I mean, that was the death of them. T, from the very beginning, the moment he started being able to cut that lane like that in the first few minutes, or around like minute 4 or 5, we just slowly started seeing the map control crumble on the side of Team Sexy. And though Team Sexy brought that aggression, that is something that it seems like is their weakness a little bit. Kind of that map control overall, just not able to always keep up. And though they can like bring an amazing early game in their team fight mechanics and best players' ability to get down and gritty with those Lord Steals and things of that nature, like they have that, but Ackerman just completely beat them in the overall map control, and it's what brought this game in. And hi, I'm T, 3-0 and 8. The man, I remember checking gold at one point and he was like 10k, and for the EXP laner to be out golding everyone on the field is normally just unheard of. But that is because for like a minute or two, he was getting 2 lanes worth of gold for a solid like 2 or 3 minutes.
Yeah, nobody.
Well, here's the thing that really opened this up for T as well. If you think about it too, even this kind of late game composition that came from Team Sexy here, even when they were a 5v4 trying to take these objectives, they still were not able to secure these objectives over Ackerman. So they weren't even able to punish them for not having T in those fights. Had T been in those fights, I think those fights might have been over even quicker with him kind of joining them. Because like I said, Ackerman was still able to handle a 4v5. That's what opened Lord T being able to kind of dive into the base, because the entire team was taken up trying to get and losing these objectives. But that comes down to the composition, and it's something that Ackerman very smartly was able to abuse here. They saw the opening there. They knew that Team Sexy would not be able to hold them off in the early game, so they were able to kind of keep the whole team in one place while Lord T was in the background getting fed, taking 2 lanes, not just 1 lane, 2 lane. That's about the best or the farthest I've seen a Uranus into the base, taking 2 lanes worth of minions in there. And just, I mean, I feel like a great read by the side of Ackerman to kind of pick up on that and then execute it so well.
Oh yeah, definitely. It was just like I said, we saw him just standing there, and it was a little bit later in there we saw that EXP gap then try to do the same thing in a sense, try to cut off a lane, but by that moment it was already too late, and you could say the gap between him and EXP gap was already too far. He was already ahead of him by so much, and it was no matter what he could do at that moment, he couldn't stop him. And I think if they would have communicated or acted a little bit quicker and say, hey, we have Uranus literally sitting in our lane, go back and stop him. But it just seemed like no one did that. I don't know if there was just a miscommunication or they figured, hey, maybe we could capitalize on this 4v5 fight. But like you said, and we saw earlier that even during those 4v5, they were kind of struggling, and still it was like almost a 5v5. It was like no difference with him being gone. And once he did get added to the equation of the team fights, we saw he was just a menace to every lane.
Yeah, so with that win, Ackerman gets a solid 3 points, right? They jump up to tie the Simpsons for second place. And still to this day, no one has been able to take out the Valley. And with only 3 weeks left, the tension is on, right? This is going to be the only series tonight for anyone just jumping in. We appreciate everyone who watched it. New Wave did reach out to us. I mentioned this at the beginning of the stream. I'll mention it again for anyone just coming in. They forfeited their match up against Deuce Knights, right? So, and we have already tallied this up on the board. So Deuce Knights now sitting in the number 6 position with 9 points. New Wave not sitting in playoff position with only 8 points, right? So right now, the spots that really look up for grabs are Team First Blood spots, Deuce Knights spots, and maybe even Insomniac spots. And I was looking over the future games of the next 3 weeks, and like, Team Sexy has some decent, like, they're going up against Vec Fantasy, they're going against Ethereal, they're going up against teams that a lot of other people consider could be easy points for them. So I wouldn't count them completely out just yet. If they can pull off some sweeps over the next 3 weeks, they could jump up to 13, 14, 15 points still and secure themselves a spot. It's really going to depend on how First Blood does, how Deuce Knights do, how Insomniacs do in the rest of these final weeks to see if Team Sexy, to see if New Wave can secure a spot in the playoffs. And this is when you need to start pulling in wins. This is when you can't be trolling, you can't be messing around. You have to do something if you want to make it to the finals of this season.
Very true. And it could be anybody's game. I mean, one of the big surprises for me right now has been the Valley's a pure dominance right now. They've been the most consistent throughout the season. They did add, like I said, they have shaken things up, adding Hoon and Basic, or Hoon and Shark to the roster now alongside Basic, and which has kind of made them even more stronger. Some of the teams that we saw, I mean, maybe we're seeing a little bit of kind of weariness from these last few months of competition. They're starting to try to change things up, trying to get things organized for their team, which is kind of fluctuating them on the standings right now. But I mean, it's still anybody's game right now. I know Vec Fantasy and Ethereal had a rough go of it so far, but both teams starting to look stronger. Like I said, this week already, Vec Fantasy main able to pick up a win off of very hard and stiff competitors. Ethereal able to pick up their first series win. So you can't count anybody out yet. And I'm excited to see what the next few weeks can hold in store for these teams.
Definitely. Like I said, I just think this is, without anything said and done, this whole thing is highlighting the Valley and letting people know who the Valley is. And you're gonna start seeing people say, throwing the Valley's name up there, possibly with the BTKs representing NA or anything of that. It's like there's other teams now. It's like people are seeing there's other teams now, and it's like you said, this a dominant performance the Valley has been putting down on past favorites, new favorites, and things like that, and they have been able to stick there and hold up the top. So I'm excited to see what they, like I said, at the end game, seeing what this could be, what the possibilities of this after everything is said and done. But through all, I just think this has highlighted new teams, some growing pains, but I think a lot more people have been brought into the know on all these amazing teams that are here, that hopefully stay here and continue to grow and shape up and form themselves to be more cohesive units and learn from the mistakes. And hopefully no one take this too heavy-handedly and the wins and the losses and things like that. I just want everybody to know that these are learnings. These are learned experiences that they can take and use to grow to be better for next time or for next game just in general. I
mean, for me personally, now that we have all these teams that we know are going to be going for qualifiers, I'm laying it down. I'm picking a fan base right now. I'm going for Team First Blood, man. That's and yeah. If any one of these top teams here that have been playing in this league for the past 3 seasons make it to M4, I will be ecstatic. But if I have to pick a team who I'm cheering on, the casters all got a favorite team, Mirko loves RRQ, People gotta pick a team. You said it before. You like Cowboys. I don't know why, but you do for some reason. I'm going with Team First Blood right now. I got a feeling they could become the team this year. That's who I'm watching closely.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. No, we've seen from the first get-go that First Blood, shot out the gate in the beginning, was doing amazing and playing amazing games, and we saw just the unity and the just how they melded together and was able to adapt to different situations, have a deep roster pool between all of them. And like I said, if First Blood, I would not be mad if First Blood was the one representing, and I would, if they make it there, I would hold my head high and go with First Blood as well.
Private, who's your bandwagon? Let me hear it. Give me something.
I'm not going to choose a bandwagon. I have been hurt before.
He wants to pick the Valley. He's just scared.
Yeah, he do. Yes, he does.
He's scared.
The problem, no, not the Valley, because I think that spurns some of where I've been hurt before. Because Hoon, I have been a fan of Hoon before, and unfortunately, I think when I first came in, there was another game I was playing. Hoon was on, and then he joined Mobile Legends. When I first came into Mobile Legends, Hoon was on Team Gosu, and they made it to M4 or M1 qualifiers at the time, and Hoon wasn't able to go. I honestly am at the point where I would love to see the rosters and how we're doing before I get a bandwagon. I've been so
hey
hurt
man,
before.
I might completely switch when the qualifiers come. I might completely switch. If I start seeing some rosters that just look crazy, it's like, sorry, Team First Blood, I'm gone. We'll all definitely do some predictions when the qualifiers do drop, and then you'll see the real guesses.
I think it actually that kind of actually brings up a fair point for some of these teams, and what we have seen, while they don't do great in the squad league sometimes, Team Sexy, Team First Blood, those are two teams that are always super surprising when it comes
second
to
and third place.
Those big matches, because of roster changes that they always go through, because they know how to handle it. They know they've been dealing with it all season long, with one person comes in, one person comes out. They've got it down to an art form of how they need to get these people and these teams ready for these games. Like, they already know, like, I feel like they already have like their own PowerPoint slides now. Like, all right, so we've got the new roster changes.
Welcome to Wendy's. You're gonna watch this little intro video now.
So you've joined Team Sexy. What to expect?
Oh God, I love it.
So it's gonna be interesting, because these teams do know how to juggle around their rosters and still play at a professional level. I think I talked about this before with Team First Blood, Prophecy, and all of them. Prophecy was able to pick up a brand new role, and in 2 weeks play Mage role at a level that was able to contend with Team Sexy, with Team New Wave. So it's amazing to see how, and I think that's one of the things that NA has over, is their flexibility to be able to get in with roster changes and still have a very decisive team moving into like finals and grand finals.
We just need to drop the podcast already, man. The NA really podcast, man. We just need to do it already, because we can just talk. We all love to do it. But yeah, let's get back to the caster's desk. We'll save some more for next week. That is going to be it tonight, guys. Thank you, everyone who tuned in. We've been building up this season. We're getting closer and closer to the end, and then we have qualifiers right around the corner. If you haven't already, I'm going to say it one last time. Hit that like button, smash that subscribe button, leave a comment in the chat, and let us know what teams you want to see go to M4, what teams you think are going to win out in this season. Thank you, everyone. You can also join the Discord. It is in a link in the description if you want to get all the news as fast as possible to what is happening in NA and just be part of the community. Your favorite teams, your favorite players, your favorite casters are in there regularly. We hang out. We're not stingy. We talk. We debate. We do things like that. So make sure you join. Also, we are running a GoFundMe just like Season 2. We are running one for Season 3, so if you want to donate to the league, help get this prize pool at an even larger number, help support N8 teams, then feel free to do that. You can leave your name in there. We have a special titles in the Discord for people who donate that way, or if you just want to help through the channel, feel free to become a member, whatever. All that good stuff. And don't forget to check out Frisky, Private Dancer. You can type ! casters in the chat to follow them. Private streams on Twitch. Frisky I don't know where you stream anymore. I know you're a busy guy nowadays. Frisky's all over the place. Just type in exclamation point casters. Follow him on Twitter, Instagram. Luckily his handle, I'm pretty sure, is like the same on all the different things, right? So it's easy. Frisky 2 times, man. Just look him up. Great guy. Thank you guys so much. Any last words from you, Frisky?
Oh man, I'm just glad to be back. Like I said, because this is my first time back from the break, and it's just so good, like I said, to sit at the desk with everyone, talk NASL, and to be back and watching great games, and to see the enthusiasm in the community, to see how the viewership has grown and the numbers have grown. And I'm just glad everyone is still here that came back from everything, and I hope you guys stay with us and continue to grow with us as we keep going forward week by week.
Private?
It's the same thing. I'm really excited about what we have here for these teams, but we're going to see you guys again next week. Same NASL time, same NASL channel. And that's it for me. I hope everybody has a great weekend.
Yeah, we will see you guys next Saturday and Sunday at 7:30 p.m. Eastern in the next draft. Until then, have a good night, guys.